Welcome back and thank you very much indeed for joining us this morning on TV3Newday. We're happy that you could join us this morning. Our lines are open. You can always send us your WhatsApp messages and we will connect with you to the rest of the wonderful world. Well, this morning, also like to say a happy birthday to Regina Quay of Bond Savings and Loans, PLC, East Legon Branch, Lagos Avenue. And this is from Ali and all your friends and your brother Alfred Quay, who wishes you a happy birthday. Also, a happy birthday to, let me fetch the name quickly, Rahel Irama O2 of Port Health, Kotoka International Airport. It's your birthday today. Happy birthday. If it's your birthday as well, happy birthday to you. And indeed, thank you very much to Grandpa Clothing for my outfit. 020-985-5696, 020-985-5696. Well, somebody says I need to lodge a complaint to the police for somebody who came here to attack me verbally. Happy birthday also to Mr. Charles O2 of the Ghana National Fire Service headquarters, cantonment from his wife, Mrs. Charlotte O2 Mama Shah of TV3, and all your children as well. They wish you happy birthday, and we're happy that we're celebrating this day with you. What's on the front pages? The Republic Press. It says, sack Oforiata, Mahama tells Akufo-Addo it's impossible to remove taxes on petroleum products. Akufo-Addo says so. Well, you know the TUC has called for that. Deal with economic hardship. NDC charges government. The Today newspaper, government can't remove taxes from petroleum products. Akufo-Addo says so. NDC forcing MPP into a concessional Alan Baumia ticket. Well, I thought Nana Kumia was calling for that as well. NDC will abolish E-Levy, Mahama assures, and PPP advocates for living wage for workers. And the Custodian newspaper, Ghana's religious harmony promotes development. Baumia, Zoom Lion boss wins maiden CEO of CEO's award, and I was there to MC that as well. Government spends 31.7 billion Ghana cedis to secure jobs in 2022. Akufo-Addo to workers. Also, Mahama vows E-Levy shutdown. Let's work together. Ordinary to new NPP executives. The Publisher. NPP hot in Ashanti constituencies, 5 of them. Booming petroleum industry woos investors, and it's official. Next NDC government to stop E-Levy. Mr. Sidiou Nketia told us that at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle when the youth wing of his party went on a demonstration. The Daily Statement. 1.8 million rubber plantation project begins as Asing in Suta. Congrats to Adwa and Bishop Toto and Reginald Danseje. Congrats to you as well. Dr. Baumia did that sword cutting there. We'll do it again. President calls for support to sustain rebound of the economy. Let's maintain our religious harmony. Dr. Baumia says so. The Ghanaian Observer. Ghana is blessed. Baumia says so. Vice President Baumia cuts sword for 826-acre rubber plantation. Unity in MPP is key to breaking the 8, not the A, according to an aspirant. Information Minister exposes Mahama over promise to repeal the E-Levy. BNFT, Zenith Bank gets new MD CEO over dependence on gas imports hurting investment in local sector, and SEC vows to crack the whip on recalcitrant fund managers. Daily Graphic. Social partners out with policies soon. President hints on May Day. Single spine pay policy worsens salaries. TUC President, Vice President rallies religious groups to strengthen ties, and NDC will repeal E-Levy. Mahama promises special supplement on the Eid there, and happy Eid to all our Muslim brothers and sisters. Daily Guide, NDC will cancel E-Levy, says Mahama. And finally, the Finder newspaper, direct negotiations for oil blocks starting soon. Dr. Amin Adam is Deputy Minister for Energy. Also, government organized labor to discuss unemployment and insurance benefits and progressive religious leadership driving Muslims and Christians harmony. Dr. Baumia says so. Men are to break biases about women. We need them to come to the table. My guest this morning is a Kwabena Bonfe. I call him James, St. James. He is the editor of the National Forum, and he's joining me here. Mr. Joe Jackson will join us shortly. St. James, welcome. You don't like St. James, well, I'll call you. How you, sir?
I'm a preacher, not a saint.
Good to see you.
Sainthood is reserved for those who will enter the kingdom.
So I should leave it there.
So please.
I beg you.
I'm a sinner.
How are you?
And I pray for forgiveness. I'm good by His grace and I'm kept in His spirit. Right. And it's my prayer that you are well and good and in good spirit.
I know where you're coming from.
No matter what the challenge is.
I know where you're coming from. I won't say anything.
Keep on going, man.
We will. We will. Did you enjoy the Eid?
Yes.
Muslim brothers and sisters.
I couldn't participate fully as I normally do.
Right.
Because I was engaged in travels and other activities. And I think that we would want to wish first and foremost the Jama Muslime, a belated happy Eid, and pray that all the supplications that were made during the period of fast would be heard by the Almighty God and responded to in His will or according to His orders. One of the things that I learned from the Holy Scripts, both in the Quran and the Bible, is that just as we human beings have choices and we have preferences, so does God. And sometimes what we wish for ourselves is not what He wishes for us. What we do know is that God or Allah never mistakes.
He doesn't.
And He will always have the last word.
Yeah.
That we can be assured.
That's right.
So when we appreciate that His thoughts for us are always good and are always well-meaning, even in our predicament, when we feel we are down, He means it well for us. We would always be rest assured, trust on His word.
Right. Happy birthday also, 50th birthday to Madame Adodo. She's the proprietress of the Jajoda School. Happy birthday to you. Yesterday you had a blast, and we pray that the good Lord Himself will protect you and guide you and shield you and also bless you abundantly. So happy birthday to you, Madame Adodo of the Jajoda School proprietress. We love you and we care for you. Please play the tape Manasseh Zuri Awoni of the Fourth Estate, my GIJ alumnus as well. Let's see that.
Well, I would have been surprised if we didn't drop. I am a bit surprised by the magnitude of that drop, but I always expected that we were getting worse and worse by the day, despite the denial by government and party officials. But I didn't expect us to perhaps hit 60. Not that I don't think the situation is bad enough to get us there, but I didn't think we would hit there. But to say that I'm surprised that we have dropped significantly is no. What has contributed, in my view, is that we have a very vindictive regime. And those of us who are practitioners, when we talk about it, there are people who don't want to hear the words as raw as they are. But I have been doing critical reporting since 2013 under the administration of John Mahama. And at the time, I have said on a number of platforms that I never for once had to fear for my life for doing critical reporting. In fact, the day I broke the Mahama Ford story, that night, Dr. Manibuama offered me police protection, but I felt I was safe enough and I didn't need police protection. I cannot say same for today. Unfortunately, when you talk about it, there are people in government, there are people in the governing party who wants you to shut up. So there are a number of journalists in this country who are even too afraid to talk about their own fears. So as we speak, you've mentioned a number of them. The arrest and the return of the criminal libel law. The ranking means a lot, but the good thing about this ranking is that before it came out, we knew our situation, we knew how bad it was. So those who would want to keep defending, it isn't going to help anybody.
Well, that's Manasseh Azuri-Awuni, my colleague, and I just told you how somebody got to my gate at TV3 to come and insult me, called me an idiot. I've said he's an appointee of President Akufo-Addo. I won't mention his name to gratify him, but I've alerted the police about it, and he says he will come and face me here at TV3. I'm waiting for him. Obviously, if we stand pan to pan, he can't beat me. James, press freedom. We have dropped from 23rd to 27th, 30th, and now we are 60 on the World Press Freedom Index. Good morning to Joyce at the U.S. Embassy. This is where we are now. What do you say? As an editor yourself.
This is according to which report?
World Press Freedom Index.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And who are the authors of that report?
Well, it's done. UN does that.
It's an annual thing.
Exactly. It happens every third May. It's announced.
Yeah.
Right.
I haven't seen this report, but media freedom and the liberty of individuals is something that is on my heart, and
right.
I would always push for it. I mean, I belong to the school of thought that subscribes to the view that we prefer the ugliest of noises.
Right.
The ugliest of noises within a multi-party system and press freedom to the best form of dictatorship. That's
President Akufo-Addo's words. He said that before.
I'm saying that.
You are reiterating it.
I'm not reiterating the words of the president.
Okay.
I'm saying what I believe in and what I'm convinced of.
Right.
I didn't cite the president.
If
it coincides with something His Excellency the President,
information that he said that before.
Thank you.
So how we have dropped now to 60 is worrisome.
I don't know what the report considered,
right,
and what may have accounted for whatever figures they have. But Johnny, I'm surprised. I'll be surprised that anybody would say that empirically in this country, media freedom has worsened. I don't see it.
I just told you how somebody got to my gate, signaled me and insulted me. This is me.
Johnny, you see, the beauty of it is that you're talking about a personal experience. I can share with you many, countless occasions where people meet you and insult you, they say things.
But you're a politician.
Hold on. I also wear a journalist cap.
Right. But this is all I do. I'm not a politician.
You see,
for somebody to come to my gate, signal me at TV3, and rain insults on me and drive off to the Jubilee House.
So you are dealing with a specific instance.
An appointee of the government of the day.
And you are failing to even mention the specific individual.
I will not glorify him.
Hold it. Yet, you have been emphatic to say that is an appointee of the president.
And I know that for a fact.
Good. What you have done is a disservice to the government, and it's a disservice to the country. And I'll tell you why.
The president won't sack him.
Johnny, it's not about the president sacking him. But we will know, I will know, Bella would know, the country would know, people who are concerned would know how mean such a person is. I always say that, you see, we need to be specific and exact in dealing with wrong. You are Johnny, we're on this set. Something untoward may happen here.
Right.
It won't be fair to say that TV3, all they do is to create untoward situations on set. We need to go into the specificity. Who did what?
And
name and shame.
And I'm suggesting
your
to
refusal
you,
to mention.
Sorry, Kabila. Sorry, I'm suggesting to you that I know that those people are looking for the president's attention. I will not use my platform to glorify them. I know this for a fact.
That what the person came to do is a bait.
They are looking for the president
to get the president's attention.
Kabila, I'll tell you something. They discuss me at meetings.
That you know.
I know. The people in the meetings come to
tell
me
you.
and they say, let's find people to shut him down. And I say, you cannot shut me down because my journalism career transcends you, transcends the president, transcends President Kufuor, John Mahama, President Mills. That's how far I go.
So if I'll be allowed to make my flow, my argument.
Yes, please go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm getting emotional about this because it's Press Freedom Day.
Don't be emotional about it, because the moment we get emotional about certain things, we become less dispassionate and we lose focus. So let's deal with the issues.
So pardon me.
Head on. No, my brother, I understand. It's you. It's something you're living. So I appreciate that. But I'm saying that it goes beyond Johnny.
Right.
And when we are talking about press freedom, we are talking about more than just the individual incident of somebody walking to you at TV3 and talking carelessly or unreasonably to you, or even issuing a threat. And I'm happy you said you have alerted the police about this.
Yeah.
I hope that you would follow that up with a proper complaint, and the police will be responsible to invite that person and go into the matter.
Trust me.
Now that way, what we have just done here, Johnny, in some years past, we couldn't do that.
That's right.
We are doing this now. Go on social media. I was in Kintampo on Saturdays and Sunday. My very good friend who was the secretary of the NDC in Kintampo and is trying to come back, Emmanuel Venkumune. He asked me, he said, Charlie, but do you sometimes read, when you are on TV3, do you read some of the comments and on social? I said, some people post some of them to me, but you know what? They don't hurt me. You know why? Every position I take, most of them have been vindicated in our political public space. And so it is not about the numbers that insult or attack me. It's about my conscience and my convictions in the things that I say that I want to hold valuable. So we all get bits and pieces here and there from people who are intolerant, of divergent views, sometimes even on set. You are speaking, somebody will not let you land. All these are issues of intolerance. But when we are discussing the idea of press freedom, let's contextualize it. Is it fair to suggest that in Ghana today, we have gone worse with the proliferation of private media? Sometimes I say we engage in even careless journalism. Somebody writes a story without giving the right to response.
But Kabila, again, let's look at Oliver. Put up that. So, let's look at the what do you call it? The pointers that were used to arrive at this conclusion of a 60th position on the International Press Freedom Index, and then we'll come and have the conversation you're talking about. Toss it in, Oliver. So this is it. This was the methodology that was used. Right. So So this was what was considered, and we will go through it quickly so that you get an understanding of it. It says that the ranking of Ghana's third lowest since Reporters Without Borders began publishing in 2002. Ghana ranked 67th in 2002 and 66th in 2005. So it means that we are falling lower than this one, 2002, 2005. But this year, the index was compiled using a new methodology to take a better account of new challenges, including those linked to media digitalization. Another change in data gathering this year was that although the survey stopped at the end of January 2022, so this is reflected there, updates from January to March 2022 carried out for countries where the situation had changed dramatically, such as Russia, Ukraine, and Mali. So Russia is in the mix, Ukraine is there, and Mali. The survey assesses on the basis of quantitative survey of press freedom violations and abuses against journalists and media, and a qualitative study based on the responses of hundreds of press freedom experts selected by Reporters Without Borders, including journalists, academics, and human rights defenders. A country fact file published by Reporters Without Borders said, although the country is considered a regional leader in democratic stability, journalists have experienced growing pressure in recent times. So these were the things that we looked at. Now, particularly, let's look at the methodology, Oliver. It says, working with a committee of 7 experts from academic and media sectors, RSF developed a new methodology to compile the 20th Press Freedom Index. The methodology defines press freedom as effective possibility for journalists as individuals and as groups to select, produce, and disseminate news and information in the public interest independently from political, economic, legal, and social interference, and without threats to their physical and mental safety. That's what we're looking at.
You see,
legal, mental safety.
Yes, but according to whose standards?
Well,
I'm happy that you, in reading the methodology,
I had to read it because I wanted a context.
Yes, you said they did quantitative surveys,
right,
and shared qualitative experiences.
That's
At the end of the day, if you're talking about quantitative data, you are looking at how representative.
That's right.
That, whatever figures that you use were.
That's right.
And, the sample size that was used, and then even the population that was studied. Then you are talking about when you talk about the qualitative, you're talking about
figures.
Not the figures. They are talking about experiences.
Right.
The people you spoke to.
Qualitative.
The meaning, yes, the meaning and understanding that they have of whatever you put out there. Johnny, I mean, the sum of all that, for me, is that at the end of the day, there are individual instances that we need to stress are untoward. You always have persons in government whose conduct, behavior, attitude is reprehensible to press freedom.
If you look at...
However...
I'm sorry.
However, it is incumbent on us, collectively, to work at exposing such individuals, not to let them have their way.
But if you look at President Akufo,
and you also would have media people, journalists, whose conduct and behavior is equally reprehensible.
That's always in doubt. But I'm saying...
I experience it, even sometimes from my own colleagues.
If you look at President Akufo-Addo, having led the charge to repeal the criminal libel law under President Kufuor as Attorney General, and the kind of intolerance that is happening today, it's worrisome. What do you think?
Where did you do that measure? You see, when people go into that tangent, I get a bit, puzzled that what are you talking about? Regardless the background of whoever, what we want is a country that adheres to its own constitution. And when any individual, fails to adhere to the principles of this constitution, we bring that person to book. It doesn't matter the background of the president with all the beautiful, titles. Okay? What we need to do is that, what are the instances? Is it the case that indeed there have been cases reported about media or journalist abuse that were exaggerated? Yes. There are.
You know, when the president spoke,
is it true that some journalists have also taken sides and have taken a position that no matter what President Akufo-Addo does, they will paint him black? Yes, there are.
2 years ago, when the president was speaking at Kempinski, 2 years ago when the president was at Kempinski, I was there. It was on that same platform when he said press freedom. I think we were third at the time on the press freedom in Africa.
Yeah.
President Akufo-Addo was exalting all of us and talking about how well we have done. And my colleague Latif was being beaten at the frontage of the police headquarters. The president was there talking about press freedom. And Latif was being beaten at the frontage of the police headquarters. Right in the front of the police headquarters, CCTV cameras, and his head is fractured up until now.
And the president was a magician to imagine that whilst he was speaking at Kempinski,
I'm suggesting
he could see Latif being beaten.
I am not saying that. I'm suggesting to you that the man was talking about press freedom, Johnny, and since that he has not spoken about it.
Johnny, we should, contextualize the issues. Let's deal with Latif's incident. It doesn't matter even the fact that Latif was a journalist. No Ghanaian deserves, I don't know the facts of that matter.
Right.
No Ghanaian deserves to be beaten anywhere, let alone in front of the police headquarters. So, if there's evidence that this happened at such an important place, the police have a unit. I don't know how long is a recent development. They are professional. So. No, I'm saying that they have a professional standards bureau.
Right. PIPS.
That goes into dealing without even going to court. That subjects policemen or women in uniform to their professional standards. Did anybody make a complaint to that bureau? Has anybody pursued the case of Latif in the courts of law?
Do you need to make a case when there are CCTV cameras? What is the essence of the CCTV cameras?
Johnny, don't take anything for granted.
I am not. I'm asking
you. Hold it.
This is a security installation. There are CCTV cameras.
For the benefit of the doubt and the avoidance of doubt, make a case. People, look, we see it all around the world, where people try to suppress information in all democracies. Watergate scandal in the US in 1972. What was it about? So it is not peculiar to us. It's a human thing. The person who is erring, who is doing wrong, would want to hide their wrong. Okay. It is incumbent on those of us who say we believe in light to shed light on that. Expose wrong. Name names, shame them, deal with them. And if the state actors fail to respond to such a complaint, then we have another reason to come and take them on. And I'm saying that, bottom line, you have the courts of law to go and seek redress. So I will be disappointed that what you have just narrated happened. Nobody reported to the PIPS. I think the name has changed a bit. But PIPS, the professional bureau of the police, or nobody has taken this matter up to the court to seek justice for Latif.
Are you happy with the way journalists are being treated in this country?
How are journalists treated?
You tell me. What do you know?
I don't think that there is a homogeneous class of journalists, that all journalists are treated in a certain manner. I am a journalist. I write. I am not happy at some comments that people pass at me, not in government. I'm not happy. But it is part of the responsibility you bear in taking up such a frontline position.
Okay.
Johnny, you choose to come here to host this program. I choose to accept the invitation to come and sit on your set. I must be responsible to my comments, and I must be ready to hear the views of other people, whether they agree or disagree. Some may go to the extent of insulting me, and sometimes I see it on your screens. Should that deter me from coming to share my views on what I think should be the way forward for our country? No. I won't let wrong people change my righteousness.
But then, again, the question comes up for those journalists who are not strong-willed, who may be, you cannot intimidate me.
Yes.
But for those journalists who are not strong-willed, who are now starting, who have not seen leaders come and go, who may be afraid because somebody threatened them.
Those who may be cowed by the threats.
Exactly.
And all that is why we have got...
And there are so many bullies around.
Absolutely. And they won't see it's coming. And they come in many shades.
What do journalists have to do?
So what we need to do is to rely on the vanguard. One is the GJA. 2 is the National Media Commission. 3 is the state security agencies. 4 is the law courts, the final arbiter.
The state security agencies that are used sometimes to intimidate the journalists?
You have no option than to deal with the state security.
But they are used sometimes to intimidate the journalists.
If there are instances, Johnny, if there are instances where they are used, and you have evidence that they have been used, deal with that. And I'm saying that that police or that security agency is not above the courts. It's not above their own professional standards. I know police people who have been dealt with by their professional standards. Some on suspension, some on salary withdrawal, and so on and so forth. And I'm by this appealing to the police. Look, make available the data on some of your personnel who have been dealt with by your professional bureau. And of course, there are instances of cases where individuals' rights have been abused by the state security, military, police alike, and the courts seeking, giving justice to the individuals who have appeared before the courts.
I do know that in the last year, maybe 2, Bobby Ansan, Caleb Kuda, the list is endless.
You have mentioned 2 and you say the list is endless.
No. Bobby Ansan, Caleb Kuda, Godfrey Tanam, Latif. Off the top of my head, these are the names that comes.
4.
Manasseh Azuri-Awuni under President Akufo-Addo.
5.
I'm saying that there's...
And you know Manasseh's case, there was a contradiction between the Media Foundation for West Africa, his flight to South Africa, his own account. So have we dealt with that? His premiering of whatever. So we went before NMC. Wait, Johnny.
Latif, what do you call him? Ahmed Swale, he's dead.
Johnny. Let's deal with the issues. You have mentioned individuals.
Right.
The conduct of some of whom has itself been questioned by
Ahmed Swale is dead.
I'm saying Ahmed Swale is dead. We need to get justice for his death.
But why
was he killed by the state security?
I said, but why are we not getting justice for him?
The wheels of justice, my brother, grinds and grinds slowly.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Oh, this is trite.
It's trite. A maxim of law.
Yeah, it's a trite, maxim in law. And you see, the reason is that the law will prefer that the innocent person walks than, to contrive issues on the guilty.
If you were President Akufo-Addo, what would you have done? Because there's growing concern about people who practice as pressmen not being too comfortable and excited.
Well, I won't start with the president. I will start with what I think I would admonish colleagues who work and say hard things. First and foremost, put your house in order. Make sure that when you are putting information out there about anybody, it is not about the president or any minister of state, but any Ghanaian, make sure you are fact-checked and that what you are putting out there is accurate. And then when you are subjected to strict proof, you can stand it.
I'll tell you.
That's the first. Oh,
sorry, I'm sorry.
Second, I would rely strongly and always on the standards that the Ghana Journalists Association has set for its members. Even if I am not properly registered or I'm not a member in good standing. And what are those? Cross-check, check, cross-check, and cross-check again. Verify. Give the person you are writing about the right to respond. Do that.
Okay.
And then the third one is that let the state actors know that there cannot be democracy without journalists.
I hear you.
And so we need to tolerate and indulge. Even when a journalist has written something that is defamatory about you, you can use the law, you can use the courts and seek redress. And punish such a journalist in such a way that it will serve as a deterrent.
Do you know what I'll say to you? There's a state institution wrote a letter to us, quoted wrong date, and said I said something. They quoted 13th of April. A state institution. They wrote to us that I said something about them. They got it wrong. And they are supposed to be in charge of planning. We'll take a break. When we return, we'll see you after the break. Welcome back and thank you very much. This is TV3Newday, and join us with your thoughts and comments. Mr. Joe Jackson has joined us. He's here with Mr. James Kwabena Bomfe of the National Forum newspaper. Joe Jackson is the Chief Operating Officer of Delex Finance. Good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning. Good morning. Haven't been on your set for a long time.
Yes. You look very well. I'm learning from you.
Oh, I'm well. I'm
briefly,
trying.
small.
Trying, small. It's always good to be alive.
Yeah,
and there's always hope.
Good to see you. Good to see you. What are your thoughts about press freedom in this country? We've dropped from 30, now we're at 60. We're doing well, aren't we?
First of all, I must admit that first, I've been commenting on the economy and finance for a long time. Of course, making any kind of commentary, especially when you have to go against the government of the day, is uncomfortable.
Right.
But this time, I find that members of my family, extended family, the calls come. Joe Yezin Kakra. Joe Yezin. Joe Akasa Kakro.
Keep quiet.
More than ever before. Now, it's only anecdotal. It's not scientific.
Right.
But all I say is that personally, I feel a little bit more pressure and far more uncomfortable than has been in a long time.
Right.
That should mean something. Remember that press freedom is in a spectrum. On one side is chaos and absolute bedlam.
Right.
On the other side is also the kind of controlled press you have in the old Star communist regimes. You always are in there somewhere. All I say is that this time we seem to be moving or perception, and press freedom has to do with perception.
Okay.
Because the biggest part of press freedom is also self-censorship.
It's okay. I'll come to you. Sorry. Let's talk to Suleiman Abrahama of the Media Foundation for West Africa. He's on the phone line now. Sule, good morning to you.
Good morning, Johnny. Thanks for having me.
Great. Sule, you have seen the report. We've dropped from 30 to 60, and I don't know what your thoughts are, but share them with us if you have any.
Well, I think that this is simply an affirmation of the concerns that we have always expressed in this country. Part of our work as Media Foundation for West Africa is the constant monitoring of the media landscape, highlighting and spotlighting incidents of violations, developments that are positive and developments that are negative across West Africa. And consistently, we have raised the flag, the red flag, that Ghana's, incidents are not looking good. We need to make amendments. The incidents and frequency of attacks are becoming just too many. the government of the day appears quite intolerant to, critical media. We are having a situation where our regulatory mechanisms are not working. And so for me, what is surprising is the level of drop. But if you look at the fact that it is not an index that accesses just one country, but 180 countries, which then means that while some countries are underperforming, other countries will be doing better. So, for example, Sierra Leone, last year, we highlighted the fact that the new government in Sierra Leone was bringing significant positive improvements to the media landscape.
Right.
And it's not surprising that it moved from 75th to now 46th. So what has happened in terms of the ranking, too bad for our country. But that's the reality of the kind of system we have now.
I see. So what do you propose? Kabila here, for example, proposes that the press must also keep their house in order. Mr. Jackson also suggests that we cannot have our cake and eat it, or we cannot eat our cake and have it, if you will. So we must keep the standards there. But the attacks, like you mentioned, are coming one too many. What do you say about keeping our house in order?
No, absolutely. In February, I did an article that I titled Ghana's Media and Press Freedom Crisis, Journalism and Press Freedom Crisis. And I did highlight the incidents of infraction. I did talk about the fact that wanton abuses, disregard for the ethics, insults, use of abusive language, and so on have become so prevalent.
Right.
And all of that. And I actually indicated that it is sometimes done as if to suggest that Ghana's law guarantees both press freedom and press recklessness. But I was quick to add that it is for purposes of regulating human conduct that we have laws in our society. And so when people commit infractions, what you apply is the law in a civilized way. What you apply is not the use of brute force, where you deploy armed soldiers or armed police officers to storm a radio station just to pick one person on the basis of publication of false news and so on and so forth. People who feel defamed can go to court. And I don't think that any of us who are interested in monitoring press freedom and so on would say that if Johnny decides to go to court against a journalist because he feels defamed, that is an attack on press freedom. Not at all. But if Johnny decides to mobilize facts to beat up the journalist, that certainly cannot be a civilized way of going about it. If police decide to arrest a journalist on the basis that they suspect he is going to publish false information, such as the case of David Tamaklo, that certainly is press freedom abuse. If national security storms City FM, City TV, or storm the offices of Modern Ghana, as happened, that is certainly press freedom abuse. If a certain member of parliament, who is currently the chair of the Defense and Interior Committee, decides to incite violence against a journalist for doing his work, that is certainly a press freedom attack. And so, I mean, yes, as human beings, we have, we will go wrong sometimes. But at the same time, look, our leaders, are they doing the right things? Are we saying that if a minister is not doing his work well, people are right to mobilize and accost him anywhere and abuse him because they feel he is not doing his work well? No. So in the same vein, we cannot say that it is justified if journalists are being beaten because they are reckless or they are abusive or they are unethical. What we say is that the rule of law must apply in a democracy. Because press freedom matters a lot for democracy. So
we've been chalking this Press Freedom Day every 3rd May, and what will it change for us as journalists in this country or on the continent of Africa, if you will?
You mean the celebration of the World Press Freedom Day?
We do, and I remember there was one of the occasions, I think 2018 or 2019, the president was speaking to us at Kempinski, and a journalist was being abused. that same day?
Yes, I mean, it's still a significant day to commemorate. This year, for example, the global event was in Uruguay. Across nations and across continents, events have been held to commemorate the day. We issued a statement yesterday. We are organizing a regional event next week to discuss the issues. I think it's an opportunity for us to highlight, discuss, celebrate on how things are going, and then think through what can be done to improve the context for journalists to do their work, first of all, and also to improve the capacity for journalists to do their work in a professional manner, in a way that helps democracy to thrive. So I think it's an important day, which we have to continue to celebrate, to reflect on our status and to reflect on our conditions and so on and so forth.
President Akufo-Addo under President Kufuor as Attorney General led the charge to repeal the criminal libel law. If you look at how journalism is being practiced in Ghana under his presidency and how journalists have come under some level of attack, and I can mention Ahmed Swale, Ajafor of modern Ghana, Latif, Godfrey Tanam. I can give you a whole list, a plethora. Really, are you surprised that these are happening? Are you not surprised? What are your views?
Well, I am surprised that these are happening, not because they are happening under President Akufo-Addo, but because they are happening at a time that I would have thought that Ghana has gone far into our democracy and certain fundamental principles would have been consolidated. Because over time, from Rawlings to Kufuor, things improved. Between Kufuor and Mills, we saw an improvement. Of course, Mahama was part of the Mills administration, but we continue to see an improvement, even though there were occasions where we expressed concerns. If you remember, under President Mahama, there were times when we put out statements warning that the situation could get worse. When Standogo decided to take the law into his own hands and abuse the journalists, we raised the flag, we petitioned President Mahama and demanded sanctions against him and so on and so forth. So my expectations would have been that given the growth of our democracy, things must continue to improve. People continue to cite President Akufo-Addo's position as Attorney General and the repeal of the criminal libel law. My position is that the repeal of the criminal libel law is a Kufuor achievement. Today, the passage of the Right to Information law is an Akufo-Addo achievement. Nobody talks about it and says that it was Madame Gloria Akufo who was there as Attorney General and he facilitated and enabled the passage and so on and so forth. I think those are just political rhetoric. It is the intention of the president, that is President Kufuor, that was fulfilled. The fact that President Akufo-Addo was the Attorney General at the time, yes, it matters, it would go through him, but if that is the wish of the president, the Attorney General cannot block it. Okay. For me, the president so far has not shown anything that demonstrates his commitment to press freedom and freedom of expression. I think that is quite sad.
So the president said emphatically that he would like a noisy media as opposed to people who are being shut up or shut down. He mentioned that he would like a boisterous media as opposed to people who are quiet and won't criticize him. He was very emphatic about that. Do you see that happening?
Well, I think for things that politicians say, if all were to come to pass, or if they really were things that they are committed to, Ghana wouldn't be where we are. I'm sure by now we would have been a first-class country. We've had promises upon promises from all governments, from all leaders, but we're still where we are. It's one thing to say something, but it's another thing to do that something. So it's less of what he says and more of what he does. That is what, for me, is critical. Under President Mills, for example, we have instances where the president himself will take a phone and call a journalist who is said to have been abused. And I remember I listened to the president, President Mills, on one occasion on Joy FM, when a Joy FM journalist during the construction of a Kramo or something went there and he was brutalized. The president called and apologized to him for the incident.
Right.
Today, radio stations are being stormed because a journalist has put out false publication about the wife of the president. What happened? We have had the politically motivated shutdown of opposition radio stations. Was it not under the current president? So I think, as I said, it's one thing saying something and another thing doing that thing. And so far, I think it's been more about talk than action.
Sule, I thank you very much for your time this morning. Sule Mana Brahma is the chief servant at the Media Foundation for West Africa. Mr. Jackson, you take a bite.
Yeah, you know, I like what Sule said.
Right.
I like the fact that he said we also have to keep our house in order.
That's right.
We still have to hold institutions and indeed the president himself accountable, because it's about our perception of how free the press is, right? It's not just simply a matter of, and I always kick against when we have a discussion on press freedom.
Okay.
When people want to work within absolutes, where they will point, oh, Johnny can't speak.
Right.
Kabila can't speak. Mr. Jackson can't speak, and so we have press freedom. That's not it.
It doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work like that. It works because on the scale, right, maybe Johnny he still speaks, but he's a little bit more cautious.
Right.
There's a little bit more self-censorship. Right. So on that scale, we've moved backwards. And it's not enough to just say, oh, the president couldn't have known, or the institutions should be applied. It's just that it's been a drip, drip, drip. Each case you may debate its merits or demerits. But the drip is slowly, the water is slowly eroding parts of the stone. And that's where we are. It's not enough to just say, oh, people are free, people can still talk. Today there's a calling program, and so on and so forth. Just that I'm a frequent part of the media.
Right.
I'm not a journalist,
right.
You can broaden the
scope and say you're part of it.
I'm part of the profession, but I just know that I feel what was the degrading of our status. It may be anecdotal, but I feel it.
Right.
And that's what it is. It's like corruption. Every time there's a discussion on corruption, it's easy to say, take it to court, do this, but we can all smell it.
But it's everywhere.
It's everywhere, but maybe we can't touch it.
You can't, it's all tangible.
You see, let's be realistic.
Okay.
Let's be human.
What is your realism?
Joe Jackson sitting here today, making all the fantastic arguments. Don't fall into the absolutes. And I agree perfectly. But the fact of the matter is that human beings are not absolute. The individual person who is making this argument today may tomorrow be engaged in something else that may withdraw their presence. You sitting outside may say that, see, this person is not talking the way he or she is used to be talking anymore. It is because there's intolerance for press freedom. You have forgotten that that person has a life which is going through trajectories and transitions that may, so moto, on the person's own account, move him or her in a certain direction. Look, what are we saying? We are not saying anything different. But we are becoming intolerant of our own views. That because I don't speak the way you are speaking, I am wrong. I'm seeing a wrong picture. Meanwhile, you are seeing things with your world view. I say that things aren't that bad for me to say that there is lack of press freedom.
Can I tell you something?
There is.
Can I tell you something?
Do.
So I started Johnny's Bite in October. There has not been a single day that I've done a factual presentation of Johnny's Bite. And nobody is able to say what you said is not factual. They only say, shut up. So we say there's no press freedom. There's no gagging of the press. But when you talk, they say, shut up.
Johnny, I have disagreed with you on one of your bites
It's okay.
before. Hold
That's
on.
fine.
I didn't say shut up.
Yes. But
I
I'm
didn't.
saying
Hold on,
that.
I'm coming.
I'm sorry.
I'm coming.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
You know, I just opened something. I want to show you something. I want you to read something.
Kabila,
you are free.
Kabila,
you are free to read it on air.
Kabila,
this is something somebody just sent.
Kabila, you are.
Kabila,
I agree with you, but I'm saying that
into the trap of using one man's
I
experience.
am not using one. But
Your
when you
own
talk about
experience,
qualitative,
you say, I'm
Joe,
okay.
Joe,
So everybody
Joe,
else is okay.
Who says that?
I just say that.
Who says that?
But you're saying your own experience tells you
you
that
don't feel
you
it.
don't feel that
there's
we
no
have
press freedom.
walked away from. We have the level of press freedom has been degraded.
Did I use the word level?
Okay.
I said I don't think that we are lacking press freedom.
But again,
you are talking about levels here.
When you talk about lacking press freedom,
you want to do comparisons. You want to do if you want us to do comparisons.
Yes,
you are a data man.
Yes.
Let's talk to data. Which data are you referring to?
Again,
that will require study. And I'm saying that if it comes to the qualitative, it's your experience, it's my experience. I don't seek to generalize. Don't also seek to generalize based on your experience or worldview or perception. Your perceptions could be obscured.
Kabila, hold on. There has been some data, some analysis that says that Ghana is not where it used to be. And all I'm saying is that my personal experience is that I agree with the data.
And I disagree.
That's fine.
But Kabila,
because that data you are talking about, I haven't seen it.
Kabila, how can you not see it? The index has been published.
Sorry, Mr. Jackson. Kabila, are you seeing the press freedom index just this year?
Johnny?
You have never been aware of it?
Johnny. I am aware of this routine thing that is done.
Right.
It is based on a number of factors. Those factors are influenced by what we also report of ourselves in this country.
Right.
I have told you and I've proved to you how some persons have exaggerated stories that have gone on record to be part of that data.
Okay.
Right?
But then I read the prerequisites of that report to you.
So that it is not a panacea. It is not sacrosanct. You are telling me that if somebody publishes something, I don't have a right to question it. This is the attitude that we must stop.
No.
Because a journalist has put something out there, somebody should not respond to it. And that responding to it means intolerance.
I'm telling you that
I don't get that.
Somebody in President Akufo-Addo's government.
You have failed to mention the person's name.
No, I won't.
You won't, but yet you are bold to mention Akufo-Addo's name.
I have told the police about it.
No, but Johnny, you see, that is, in my view, it's bad enough. Akufo-Addo have got more than 1,000 appointees.
Yes, but I've mentioned to the police, and I'm saying to you,
please, I'm coming. But you are saying it on air. I'm talking about what you're doing on air now.
Exactly.
What you are doing on air now is different from what you went to tell the police.
And he is not alone. There are plenty of him. So let him do house cleaning. You're asking us to do house cleaning.
Johnny, how can the president do house cleaning when you are not telling which of his over 1,000 appointees you have reported?
Let the president meet the press.
You see, minds are made up. Minds are made up. And no matter what anybody says, your mind is made up on the fact that President Akufo-Addo's government is bad on press freedom. That's your mind. That's your judgment call. And so no matter what anybody says, I'm saying that no regime in our country's history is spared of that judgment call. No regime. But if we go into the detailed analysis one by one, you find that some of the issues
the president,
are really unfounded.
The SRC
what about that? Somebody went and slaughtered a fowl in this country, smeared his body with blood and said that he had been attacked. Do you remember that? Jojo Bruce Kwanzaa, do you remember that?
But Ahmed Swale's
to give is there. We condemned
reality.
it. We condemned Ahmed Swales. I am not happy that the state has not been able to apprehend the individuals who were involved or whoever conspired to do that. It is one issue, and we are talking about it. We flagged it, we've raised it, we overflogged it. It doesn't mean that, look, which administration in this country, if you want to do the detailed analysis, the last time somebody helped me with some information, can be spared of journalist brutalities. Which regime in our country's history?
I remember.
So let's put the things together.
I remember Kaka.
Let's not pick and choose.
Can I ask a question? Don't you think that regardless of whether you say it is wrong or not, that the government of the day has a responsibility, right, to deal with the perception that we have, that we have gone down the wrong end of the road?
I agree with you perfectly. And then I'm saying that the government cannot deal with that perception without you and I. Hold on. He's withholding from government. He's withholding from the public. But he wants government to deal with that. How can government deal with that?
Reported to the police.
Kabila, let me tell you something.
The police conduct of that matter will be premiered on TV3 as he's doing this one.
Kabila.
These are the things that shape perception.
It's not perception.
No, I'm talking about the things that shape perception.
About
what you have put here without the name.
To the front
put the person's. I'm daring you to put the person's name just as you have given the person's name to the police. I'm daring you to do that.
Me
Johnny.
And he's an appointee of the president. And I would say it until tomorrow.
Johnny, I'm saying that.
You cannot stop
I'm saying that. I deprecate that. Oh, how am I stopping you?
You cannot.
What is the poll? How am I stopping you?
We will not.
How am I stopping you? How am I stopping you?
You cannot do that.
No, how am I stopping you?
You cannot do that.
So withdraw that. How did I stop you? Why are you saying I stopped you?
But did I say you are stopping?
No, you have just said that I cannot stop you. Have I tried to stop you?
But you are saying I should mention the name. I said no.
So if you mention the name, how is that meant to stop you?
But that is information not for you. It's for the police.
But the information that an appointee of a Akufo-Addo is for the public.
And that is where your
I am
problem
telling you that, no, you see,
that's where your problem is.
You are helping that individual who did wrong to get away with his wrong.
No, he is not. The police knows him. They will find him.
Well, that's your view on that. I disagree.
It's okay. That's fine.
We are part of the problem.
Let's talk about E-Levy. Mr. Jackson, E-Levy has started.
Yes.
Have you felt it?
Oh, I've paid the E-Levy. My personal experience is that when I transfer money to any individual, I pay. When I pay a merchant, so I went to the pharmacy shop, I paid with
your
Momo.
Okay.
I was not charged with E-Levy, but I transferred money to an individual and I was charged. I have to presume that that's part of the phased implementation, because as at now, I'm not sure. My understanding is that we don't have the mechanisms to even get to know whether you are transferring from your own account to another account, and that's something missing.
I've seen the banks send those messages, wallet to wallet, bank account to wallet.
Yes.
They've sent that. At least ADB, APSA, I know.
Zenith has also sent. I do a lot of business with Zenith.
But that is not in what the GRA put out. The GRA said those ones are exempted.
Yes.
And then the banks are sending that.
Let me also, I think that we should listen carefully. GRA has been stating for the last few days that whatever is deducted wrongly, I will reverse. I will pay you back.
Right.
It's been saying that. I think that is indicative that they know, right?
That some wrong will be done.
That some wrong is going to be done. That some people are going to be charged when they shouldn't be charged.
But the conversation is, how do you get back that money? That's what the speech are asking.
My assumption is that it was taken from my Momo account. So if you realize that it's an error, you return the money to my Momo account. That has to be
easier said than done.
No. Why should it be so hard to do that? The whole platform is digital, so you determine when the right processes are in place. You determine that I transferred to my own account.
Right.
Yesterday, you didn't have a means of verifying. So you took some money from me, which was not valid. Today, you know.
Return my money.
Return my money. After all, there's a detailed listing of how much everyone has paid, regardless of whether you paid 1 CD or you paid 1,000 CDs. So I don't see the problem.
The government gave us an indication that they wanted to raise 6.9 billion. Now it's been downgraded to 4.5 billion because of the delay in the implementation. There's a matter in court already. It will be heard, I think, today, tomorrow.
Somewhere.
Yes, yeah.
But it will be heard before the end of the week.
Exactly, it's an injunction. But GRA is going ahead to deduct the tax. Where are we?
Did you say there was an injunction?
There is an interlocutory injunction.
Filed
by
or secured?
By three members of the...
It's an application. Has it been heard and granted?
No. That's sorry. Maybe it's semantics.
Yes,
but the issue is that there's an application for an injunction.
Johnny,
let's be precise.
Be careful.
They have applied for an injunction,
right?
But that's not the
case.
It's
not been granted.
It's not.
It hasn't been heard. It hasn't even been heard. It's not been moved.
And I'm not a lawyer.
Okay.
But my lame.
Kabila has a law background.
Okay, my lame mindset. Assuming that the E-Levy was properly instituted, which some people are challenging.
Right.
If you say don't charge, don't start, and you go back and you find that it was properly instituted, the days that have passed, I can't charge. You understand what the issue is? You can't go back and charge me. So, in the sense that it has been started, I do understand. Because if you start from the premises that we need the revenue and that's why we are doing this, then if you don't charge and you say, okay, according to my interpretation, it is legal, I want to start charging from 1st May. If an injunction is placed and on 1st June, we find out that the injunction is not worth it or whatever.
Would we send back the money?
No, you can send back the money, but you can't deduct the money after the fact.
That's right.
So I do understand. You understand me?
I get you.
I can, if I don't start it today, on 1st June, I cannot go back and deduct the money.
Retrospective.
Because there may not even be any money in the account. There will be no basis.
Right.
But on 1st June, if I have deducted the money wrongly, I can return it.
Right.
So on that basis, I do understand why GRA says.
But Mr. Jackson, the government said, I want 6.9.
It won't get 6.9.
Yes.
Yes.
So all the argument the government made for 6.9 is now not valid for the 4.5.
It may even be less because
there's shock. And the Momo operators have come out clearly to say there is panic within the system.
Oh, there is panic withdrawal. I have in my household an 81-year-old lady who used Momo because that's my mother-in-law.
Wow.
And her kids send her Momo all the time.
Okay.
Last week, she went out, she came back, she said, I'm going to withdraw all my money from Momo. I said, oh my grandma,
but it's in the end.
She says, I've taken all my money out. So that would happen. And in truth, remember that the reaction against this Momo E-Levy is emotional. It's almost physical.
Right.
People are angry, right? And we can say that maybe even the majority are angry.
Yeah.
So that you can expect that a lot of people are even. I was speaking to someone and he says, I won't take Momo. I said, but if you don't take Momo, how are you going to
How would you survive?
How would you? Your business is digital. Your business takes money from delivery. So how are you going to do it? He says, I won't do it. I said, well, think through it carefully. You may not be able to do it. So the reaction is very emotional.
Is it going to be temporary? You're a finance person, data man. Is it going to be temporary? Because the GRA and the finance ministry has said that, yes, there will be initial shock, but eventually people will come along.
Well, one thing I know for sure, the use of Momo grew not because it was tax exempt. It grew because it was convenient.
Right.
And at some point, the anger and the convenience will meet.
Right.
The convenience and the anger.
It will meet.
It will meet.
And what will be the consequence?
The consequence will that at some point, even if you are angry, even if you don't want to pay, there's some amount of inconvenience that you may not be ready to take.
Right.
So I expect that as the days go along and people come to a realization of the cross between convenience and the anger, it will settle at some point.
Okay.
And you may realize that Momo usage is too convenient not to use. And that's one of the things that...
The reality.
That's the reality. Now, you also have to bear in mind that worldwide, if you use your Visa card...
Right. Right.
The charges are over 2.5%. And it's borne without complaint. Yeah. I must admit that one of the reasons why Momo grew also was that Momo was so cheap.
Yeah.
Even the platform charges were cheap, and the platform charges have been reduced across board. So whether you're paying E-Levy or not, the platform charges have come down.
Right.
I think that before the end of the year, we will see things not go back to what they were, but come to some equilibrium.
Kabila, the NDC says they will abolish Momo. At least General Sedun Ketia told me that. Sam George reiterated it, that they will abolish the E-Levy when they regain power. What do you say?
They might never get a chance
to regain power or to abolish the law?
Consider that thought. That is my initial comment on that. Okay. So I don't want to dignify.
But you have to explain.
I want to explain.
You are my brother.
Come on. They might never get the chance.
I understand Kabila's position. It says clearly, I interpret his position as I don't think they are going to get power.
They are going to get power again.
So I won't discuss it, which is fair.
You can put your interpretation to what I said.
But that is what I want you to explain.
I'm saying that if they say, given the chance, they would abolish it.
That's right.
I'm saying they might never get the chance.
Okay.
I want to
that
end
means
it there.
They won't win the election, or they will
whatever you
they
want.
Will never think
Johnny,
about.
let me proceed.
Oh, you are my brother.
Let me proceed. No, please. Let me proceed.
Proceed.
You see, I'm happy with the analysis that the finance man did.
Right.
But quickly, you know, the institutions we invite to comment on issues matter. There are two key institutions about media activities in our country that you should be speaking to. The GJA and the National Media Commission. If you choose to the Media Foundation for West Africa, that is a private organization with an interest. Now, on this E-Levy.
So I cannot speak to them?
You can, but I'm saying that be fair and speak to the regulators. Speak to NMC, speak to GJA. Now, on E-Levy.
I know what GJA's position is on press freedom.
You didn't know the position of Media Foundation for West Africa?
They haven't written a statement to that effect.
Now, Johnny, I think that to start with, the fact that somebody has applied or made an application for an injunction does not necessarily constitute an injunction. There's no injunction on E-Levy which has been
it's not been heard yet.
There's no an injunction in place that has been disrespected.
Okay.
I want to make that clear. They have started as they said they would start. As somebody who supported the idea of E-Levy, I did some activities on that on the Sunday, the May 1st. and then on the May 2nd.
Okay.
And I think that there are issues with the platform or the application that has to be resolved.
Okay.
And that is my concern.
Right.
I did a 200 transfer.
Okay.
And the response I got was a fee charged 1.50 Ghana cedis.
Okay.
Tax charged 1.50 Ghana cedis.
Right.
You put that together, that is 3 cedis.
Right.
I did a that was more than the threshold of 100.
Okay.
The same day, I did a transfer of 80 Ghana cedis. Fee charged 60 pesos. Tax charge 1.20 p.
Okay.
Tax charge.
Should be 20 pesos.
Yes. No, but if it is below 100,
you are not supposed to be charged. But then means that you have gone.
That's not what it said.
Because you have done 200 Ghana already.
You've
means
gone
that you have gone
above the
beyond.
threshold.
I'm developing my point.
So you have done 280.
So I'm coming.
Okay.
So you are making my point for me. So the 80 is no longer 80 and 100.
Okay.
The threshold.
But they never said. I'm
not saying they said. I'm saying
Okay,
that's
the point is advancing.
I'm arguing for us all to appreciate that if I've already done 200, I've gone beyond the 100.
Right.
If I do another 80 or even 20 or 50, it is not 50 or 80. It will add to what I don't know.
That was always been the understanding from day one.
Well, not all of us understood that.
Oh, okay.
So for those of us who didn't understand that, I'm coming.
Yes, that's what has been put forward.
But I had an issue when I did 150. The fee charge was 1.12 pesos, and then the tax charge was 2.25. When I did the calculation, I was at a loss. What percentage that was? Okay. The fee charged,
right, and
then the tax charged.
Right.
And I think I made this appeal. It is incumbent on the Finance Ministry and GRA to come clear on how they are marrying the two. Because if you say fee charge, tax charge, they are all taxes.
Well, the fee
goes to the platform, goes
and
to
then
MTN,
the tax goes
goes to the Ministry of Finance.
Do you get
and
it?
I'm saying that for me, that fee that goes to the platform, is a fee or a charge on what transaction I've done.
That has always existed.
But I've also argued that it is incumbent for us to be on the same page, that they synchronize. That's what I'm advocating.
No, but see, I think that the GRA wants to
make you clear
let you know that this is what you're paying for.
So Johnny,
IPP, and this is what you're paying.
Johnny, so let me finish with my empirical data.
Forward.
I did another 200, and this time the fee charge was 1.50. Okay. And the tax charge was 3 cedis.
That's not correct.
You understand?
Because the first 200 you did was 1515, right?
No.
1.50,
No,
1.50.
It wasn't. This is correct. It was
so this is
0.75 of the figure, which is 1.5.
Okay.
And then 1.5 of the figure, which is 30.
Right.
Correct.
But then he mentioned earlier.
3 cities, yes. What is 1.5%?
Okay.
Of 200, that's three. That's 3
cities. So the E-Levy part is correct.
Okay.
What is 0.75 of 200 cedis?
But then
0.75% of 200 cedis.
But he mentioned earlier that he got 1.5.
I did the first one. You see, listen. I did the first 200 transfer, and it was 1.50, 1.50.
That's 200.
Which is different from this one, which is another 200, 1.53.
Do. The first one, they gave you gratis for the first 100 cedis.
Ah, okay.
I get because I've looked at them.
You also experienced it?
No, not I experienced it. I set out over the last 2 days to actually check
what was
happening. Because it's also important. Remember that my business as Delex requires we use Momo intensively.
Yeah, exactly.
Our whole business model is based on Momo. So it was very important for us to understand
what is going on,
so that we can issue a correct statement to our customers.
That's right.
So I don't think your experience is wrong.
Or out of
no, I don't. I actually don't.
This is the kind of.
That if you send, for example, 200, the first time you get gratis on the 100, which is not beyond the threshold.
Yeah.
And then the 200, the next 100 will attract the charge.
Because the argument always says your first 100 CDs is not charged.
So I am doing this to raise the point that it is important that those who are running this platform keep the public updated on how things are running. They must never relent. And because on the Monday when I did a transfer of 20, it was 0, fee 0, tax 0, until I did an additional transfer that attracted a fee. So the system may not be absolute. There may be hitches here and there, but I think it's incumbent. But from what we are learning now, this may even not be a hitch after all.
That's what I was going to say. That the hitches, for me, the hitches lie with the exemptions that GRE talked about. Account to wallet and vice versa. For someone who owns the account. That one, they said they are facing in, so we can't call it a hitch.
But then you would have to link your account to your Ghana card.
Yes.
To be able to benefit from
Now, we're not sure whether that whole linkage across, remember, it's going to be a linkage across platforms. It has to link the bank, my bank account where I've got to put my Ghana card, to my MTN or Vodafone or Airtel or Tigo, Airtel Tigo account where I've also gone with my Ghana card. They all have to come in sync
so you can benefit.
So that I can benefit.
So the last bite I want to have on this is that
our time is up. We have to go.
This thing has started. I want to make an appeal to government. Make do with your word. Be accountable to this process and let Ghanaians see the need and the meaning of this E-Levy.
I hear you.
God bless our homeland.
Mr. Joe Jackson is the Chief Operating Officer of the Telex Finance Company. He's a big man. And also Kabila, James Kwabena, he is the Managing Editor of the National Forum. Happy birthday to Rahel Irama Otu, Port Health, Kotoka International Airport, and also to a belated one to Yvonne Forgive Gakpeto of Valley View University. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time. We'll see you after the break. There's sports, entertainment, and some more conversations here on Newday.